Hello everyone, today we're going to be jumping back into Historic Brawl with Aeve, Progenitor Ooze. The goal of this deck is very straightforward. Since Aeve has Storm and gets bigger for each other Ooze we control, we're going to be trying to control a bunch of Oozes and cast a lot of spells before we cast Aeve to have a super high Storm value and build out a massive board to win the game. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to hit that Storm win condition. We've got Paradox Engine paired with Gilded Lotus, Nyx Lotus, and Great Henge, which is card draw here. But all of this mana being able to tap and untap, drawing cards for each spell we cast, is going to be a great way to dig through our deck. We also have Guardian Project for some additional card draw as we're trying to storm off that way. As for building out a wide board filled of oozes, we've got Consuming Blob and Biogenic Ooze, each of which are going to be able to create more and more oozes for us and give us more value for each ooze we control. Now, going down into the lower mana costs, we have a bunch of mana dorks, everything from Llanowar Elves to the whole Llanowar tribe, and lots of card draw on things like Elvish Visionary. We have a lot of cards that are going to end up drawing as a card when we cast it, things like Urban Utopia, and even Mind Stone here, which will also function as a mana rock for us in addition to the card draw. As we cast more and more of those spells, draw cards off of our other permanents, or the cards that we cast themselves, make a whole bunch of mana, cast Aeve for a big number on Storm, and get a wide board full of oozes. Now, another way that we can close out the game is with one of our best utility spells here, Return of the Wild Speaker. We're going to either draw a bunch of cards because we have a massive ooze, or we're going to be able to give all of our non-humans, notably oozes, +3/+3 until the end of turn, which is going to be a great way to push through surprise lethal damage on our opponents. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my videos so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest content, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Now let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, and here we are on the play. This actually looks like a pretty decent starting hand. We're going to go ahead and keep plenty of lands, a little bit of ramp. I like it. Let's start with the Adventurous Impulse, grabbing a Faceless Agent. Now, our opponent is playing the mono-white Gandalf, so we are concerned about all of their ETB abilities. Now, that's a Paradox Engine, always pretty good to see. Let's go ahead and get Paradise Druid out. Next turn, I think we'll go for the Faceless Agent. Alright, Oswald, great for our opponents. Let's go ahead and get the Faceless Agent. Druid of the Cal, alright, no attacks. We'll have access to 5 mana next turn. I think we're going to go with the Consuming Blob. Now, if we can see a way to get us some card draw, that'll be great, so we can storm off with Aeve here. Again, the Blob is going to be very good. We're going to keep on making more on our end step as well. The more oozes we have, the better off we're going to be. Let's see, I'm going to bet they're going to go for something like Arcane Signet. I doubt they're going to pick a removal piece for the Faceless Agent, but they could. No, just Ichor Wellspring, going to draw a card. That's fine by me. Let's go ahead and play out the Consuming Blob. Swing in and deal damage while we can. And here we go. I do love these tokens. These are very fun tokens. The art, at least, on those oozes. Opponent only has access to 4 mana, so they're not going to be able to flash out Sauron. Ornithopter of Paradise, sure. May be worth it to play out the Paradox Engine next turn. We'll see. Let's go for the Paradox Engine. And I'm going to attack with the Faceless Agent. Okay, there's another Ooze. Now, even if we don't get to cast Aeve for a very large storm value, it does enter with a +1/+1 counter for each other ooze we control. Right now, that's 3, so we might as well have cast this at least 3 other times, because we're going to already have those oozes. But we're going to see. I do want to hold out because we have Paradox Engine out on the battlefield. It looks like our opponent is going the ramp route. They still have access to 4 mana. Maybe they're going to wait and use Oswald on our turn. They might sack the Wellspring now to draw that card. Yep. Looking good so far. Now with our Paradox Engine, all of our 2 mana spells are going to cost 1 because we have the Paradise Druid. So we can actually go ahead and play out both of our spells. Alright, Liquid Metal Coating. Looking good. Opponent's tapped down. Let's go ahead and play out a land. Tap for 2. Let's go Urban Utopia. Draw another card. Now we have a choice. We can either play out the Aeve now, or we can get down both of our mana dorks. Hope to see some more cards next turn. It's a difficult choice. I think we're gonna go for the Aeve now. Looks good. We've got ourselves some large oozes. Gonna go ahead and attack with the Faceless Agent. And we'll go ahead and make another ooze. Now notably, if one of our creatures dies, that is going to grow our ooze. It's gonna be very strong for us. Alright, casting Gandalf at instant speed, sure. Okay. Sacrifice their mana dork. They can find a 4 CMC enchantment. Mystic Forge, yep. It's a good one. Sure. Everything's looking pretty good for us so far. Opponent passes the turn. Beside You is a phenomenal draw. Let's go ahead and move to combat. We're going to leave Paradise Druid back and swing with everything else. Let's see. Opponent's thinking about whether they want to do something right now. They can flash in a spell. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We do have a lot of damage on the board. Alright. Looks good. Swing like this. We're going to wait for blocks before we use Beside You. Okay. Opponent plays out the banner. That just buffs the Gandalf. Okay. Yep. Looks good. Let's go ahead, use Beside You, hit the Forge. This is going to grow all of our blobs. That's 4 extra damage that we're sneaking through here. Not to mention that Faceless Agent is going to be a creature in our graveyard, further growing our blobs. We do give our opponent a land here. And that could be good if they have something in their hand, but I don't think they do, because they were playing around the Mystic Forge. Let's go 2 damage, yep. Opponent's down at 4. Let's go ahead and untap everything with a Druid. And I think we're good to just pass right here. Make another Ooze. We are presenting lethal on board. Opponent's not going to be able to block everything, so they really do want to find some way of dealing with our whole board here. Now they do have Oswald. But just looking through, it looks like CMC4 is the highest mana artifact that they're going to be able to get here. And we'll see if they do have an 8 mana artifact, they can maybe get a portal off the Oswald sacrifice, but I'm not too optimistic for that happening. Of course, they can always just wait till our turn. Nope, they're going to go ahead and use Oswald now. Let's see if they have a clean answer. They're at least taking a look. The One Ring, yep. The protection is very strong. It at least buys them one more turn. But we're going to keep making tokens, so we've got it. Alright, opponent going first. This is a pretty good starting hand. I like having a Return of the Wild Speaker. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Hope to find some other useful cards. We do have a little bit of ramp, a little bit of card draw. Let's see what our opponent's thinking about. Opponent is playing Aragorn, so if they get him out on the battlefield early, they have a chance to develop a better board state than us. I think our goal is going to be to work towards Aeve as quickly as possible so we can build our own board. Let's go ahead and keep the 7. Alright. Looking good. Opponent's moving on to starting their turn. Seachrome Coast, Moss Amber, and they pass. Land go. We're gonna be playing nice and quick here. Next turn we're going for the Woodland Mystic, unless we draw another 2-mana mana source that we prefer. We do not. It is a land. Let's play out the Mystic. If our opponent does have counter magic, I doubt they're going to choose to use it here, but they may. Nope, we've got it. Looks good. Next turn, I'm thinking Generous Stray, or the card that we draw. Okay, gaining some life, drawing some cards. I am surprised by the lack of early board presence out of our opponent. Sure. Arcane Signet, yep, just some ramp. That's fine. And a Llanowar Alps, more ramping. Alright, Llanowar Visionary. So that's going to be better than Generous Stray, since it's going to actually give us some ramp. No need to attack. We'll end the turn here. Slow and steady. Alright. Opponent's getting some extra value. The longer they wait, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and play out the Generous Stray. Draw a card, see what we find. Another land. Let's get Shaper's Sanctuary onto the battlefield. This is just going to protect us from some of our opponent's potential targeted spells. They should bait our opponent into using one now if they have one. Alright. Looking good to me. We're going to attack with the Llanowar Visionary. Start getting some damage through. See if we can undo that Faithful Mending. Odds are our opponent's not going to chump with the Llanowar Elves. We'll see, though. Awesome, looking good. Short, Faithful Mending once more. And our opponent's going to be discarding again. Now I'm thinking this turn they're probably going to go and try and play out Aragorn. But they might not. They have been on more of a value-oriented track. Alright, clearing the board. Deeply unfortunate for us. Now we can't just play out our commander here to have a creature. I don't really like that though. Let's go with this. Grabbing the Llanowar Visionary back. Let's play out our Llanowar Visionary. Get another card. Keep our hand nice and full. Next turn we can use Blessing of Frost to draw a card. Kind of like that. I do want to have enough mana to cast a couple of spells before we go for Aeve. I would like multiple oozes on the battlefield so we can benefit from this return of the Wild Speaker. Blessing of Frost holding up Verdant Rebirth feels pretty good. Okay. Opponent brings Uro back. Yep. Gaining some life. Drawing a card. See if they get another land. They do. Jetmir's Garden, alright. And Mana Confluence. Looking good. Opponent can cast Aragorn here. Nope, they cast out a Teferi instead.
I know. I'm right on time.
Alright. Yep, we're gonna draw a card. Thanks for the targeting. We can cycle the Tranquil Thicket if we need to. Alright, Consuming Blob is pretty good for us. I'm going to try and cast this. Awesome. And then I'm going to hold up Verdant Rebirth. No attacks here. End the turn. Let's start growing our oozes. Verdant Rebirth here. Draw this card. Excellent. Now, fun fact there, because we were able to use our instant to change its toughness, we keep our Consuming Blob, and we make our token. Slow and steady, we're going to be growing our board. This is going to become very difficult for our opponent to deal with very soon. When all else fails, we can also consider using Return of the Wild Speaker to buff our board out. Okay, sure. Yep. Now we will have a new blocker being made every turn off of our Consuming Blob, but I would like to keep this for now. So, no blocks just yet. We'll take that, go all the way down to 12. Let's start with an Explore. We've got 2 land drops now. Go with Blessing of Frost. Go for this. Draw 3 cards. I like it. Then we'll play out our Paradise Druid. Now we are set up for our next turn. No need to attack here. Let's end the turn. Make another ooze. And now, on our next turn, we're going to storm off and cast Aeve. We already have 3 oozes on the battlefield, so Aeve's going to be very big. Our opponent's top decking at this point, using Teferi's ability to try and see a couple more cards. Chromatic Lantern, sure, I'm fine with that one. See what their last card is. Teferi Time Raveler, that's fine. Opponent's going to scry a little bit. Odds are they're going to return the Consuming Blob to our hand. We'll get to draw a card off that, though.
You show remorse, I'll show restraint.
Let's see. Now, for us on our next turn, we actually don't mind if Consuming Blob is returned to our hand, because notably, each of these 1-mana spells that we cast is going to give us another Ooze off Aeve, which is going to be very strong. Yeah, let's draw that card. Llanowar Tribe. Opponent gets rid of a token. Alright. Let's go ahead and cycle the Thicket right now. Grow all of our blobs even more. Alright, well, Song of Freyalise is perfect for us. Now, all of our blobs are going to tap for mana. So that's essentially a free spell that we got there. Go ahead and add 1 mana of any color. I'm going to pick green. Give one of our creatures trample until the end of turn. Let's make a Consuming Blob. Alright, now let's see. Start tapping down our creatures. Let's go for the Llanowar Tribe. And we'll cast Aeve now. With 4 as our storm count, we're gonna get a whole bunch of these. Looking good. No need to attack. Make another Ooze. And then next turn we'll be able to swing out with Return of the Wild Speaker, which is gonna be very powerful for us. With so many creatures, I think we're gonna catch our opponent off guard with this as well. And our opponent can't use their Teferi. Sure, Dream Trawler, that's fine. They get to scry some. They can give it haste. They chose the +1/+1 counter instead. Notably, none of our creatures are humans, so we are in a very strong spot. Opponent may have a removal spell. Okay. Looking good. Yep. Alright, opponent's hand is empty, so we're not worried about any combat tricks out of them. What we see is what we get. Now I think we will play our Visionary out first and draw that card. Now notably, the 3rd chapter of Song of Freyalise, if this next turn isn't able to close out the game for us, certainly will. Giving us Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible is absolutely insane. Alright, let's go ahead, start with the Visionary, draw cards, see if we find something else that we want to play. Great Henge. I do like the Great Henge, so let's play that out. Now let's move to combat. Swing at our opponent. Let's let them figure out blocks. There are a couple of good blocks that our opponent can make. Sure, that's not it. That one is a good block. That's a pretty good block as well. Alright. Go ahead, cast this. Buff all of our creatures. And we've got it. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed. As we saw, it is very easy for us to build a very large board with Aeve. And with some of our instants, we can actually grow that board to deal some massive unexpected damage to our opponent. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you have any ideas for another video you'd like to see me make, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.